Hi, Six Nation. Today we have Aron Scott, men's wrestling coach here at William Penn. Thanks, Coach, for coming in for a few minutes as we preview the 2020-2021 season. Fortunately, you guys were able to sneak in the end of the 2020 season, so at least we don't have to talk about that part of COVID with you guys. But so let's recap 1920 real quick. Obviously highlighted by Joe East being an All-American.
Yeah. So kind of like you said, we're really fortunate that we were able to get our national tournament in, and it was kind of like after that, that's when everything kind of started falling apart. So really excited about that because that helped end our season on somewhat of a high note. Throughout the year, we just had some unfortunate circumstances that kind of plagued the team with just some sicknesses and injuries that that kind of we had to battle through and trying to put forth a full lineup. So it was really nice to end that on a high note, and then that also kind of helped us through the summer too. Giving us a little bit of energy and some some passion and enthusiasm while going through everything and the struggles we had. So that was important to us. So and then obviously Joe placing at nationals was really big and scored a lot of points for us. Getting in the top 20. I think it was 27th as a team. So that's really good and the best that we had finished in a few years. So we feel really good about last season, how it ended anyways.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously COVID hit. And then you guys had to just deal with that, and kids left campus, and now they're back fortunately, and you guys are back into normal practices. But let's go back to COVID and kind of how recruiting changed, or I guess maybe not even that, just overall how was recruiting over this past year, getting ready for this year?
Yeah, so we had to do things a little bit differently, because we put tours and visits on a hold. So there was a lot of things were virtually, sitting down and talking with recruits. But I would say, despite that, we had a pretty good recruiting class come in, and some, good recruits that, I think that we're going to be able to see some of those guys this weekend. But, I would say another great thing that, COVID allowed us to do, as we were affected in our summer training, we weren't able to train because of that. So that kind of gave us the opportunity to take a step back, and we really worked on establishing the leaders of the team and developing a culture and kind of setting expectations for this upcoming year. And I feel like that focus and the conversations we were having with leaders and then the leaders having with the team helped us through that tough time period. So I would say that was something that really strengthened the team. So kind of grateful for COVID from that that point of view, because I think that may have taken a little bit of a backseat to training. So that was a really good thing. And then and I think just those conversations also helped with recruiting as well, as saying, hey, this is what we've been putting together and this is what we're working on. Do you want to be a part of this?
Right, for sure. All right. Going into the season now, you guys have been able to have practice, and off the air we were saying wrestling is going to be the toughest sport to actually get in with COVID. I mean, you guys don't have you can't do social distance wrestling. It doesn't work. It's not wrestling, and it's just standing. So, how have you guys worked around that of saying, all right, these are some of the protocols we have to change and procedures and things that we have to adapt to, and figuring out a way to get the season in?
Yeah, so I'll kind of preface that going back to the culture and the leaders that we had put in place. Because earlier in the year, normally we start our preseason training the second week of school, and we weren't really able to do that as a team, and me being in there as a coach. So I got to give a lot of credit to our leaders, and for them, because they were working with the team and helping them train. They knew what we needed to do, and they were kind of enforcing those and policing the culture and making sure that that we were able to have a season. And that was something that that by saying, hey, this is what we want to accomplish as a team this year.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want the reason we don't do that after all the hard work that we've put in. We don't want that to be COVID.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be in control of that.
Yeah.
So, knowing what we needed to do in order to keep ourselves safe, in order to keep ourselves, you know, able to compete, you know, that really helped guys to stay motivated and dedicated to following those procedures. So, like you said, there's no social distancing in wrestling. You know, you just can't get around it. But what we've really focused on is, you know, mitigating as many of those risks as we can and limiting our contacts. You know, so, you know, right now guys are, you know, we split the team into two different practices. So we have little guys and big guys. That way, if someone gets it, we're not wiping out our entire
team, right?
entire lineup. You know, because that used to be a lot of time. That's used to how it be. You know, you might wrestle 5 or 6 guys.
Right.
You know, so we're not able to do that anymore. And us coaches aren't wrestling with everybody like we used to.
Right.
So that's been somewhat limited. And so breaking the team into 2, and then also limiting who guys, you know, guys may only wrestle 2 or 3 guys and may only be, you know, put into a quadrant of the room and like, hey, this is where you guys are gonna wrestle. And then wearing masks while we're practicing as well. You know, it's not always fun, but you know, kind of going back to what we're talking about, we're protecting our goals and you know, our season. So that's why we're willing to do that.
Control the controllables, right?
Yep, absolutely.
For sure. All right. Well, let's break down the team that we have here this year. Starting at 125.
Yeah, 125. We're gonna have Kirkland Crocker. You know, he's a little bit healthier this year, though he is nursing a little bit of an injury. He's gonna be, you know, he wrestled 141 for us last year, so he was up a couple of weights.
Right.
You know, we had Darkwell Pierre and McGuire Bodorf down at 33, so Kirk has now made it down to 25. Looked pretty tough in our wrestle off, so he's got the experience, and you know, we're excited to, you know, see what he can do. You know, and then we have a lot of talented freshmen waiting in the wings there. You know, Nadello Charles Pierre is going to be redshirting this year.
Okay.
We're going to give him another year of growth. Right now, you know, a freshman that I could see stepping in for us is Sean Swasty. You know, he wrestled well in our wrestle-offs this past weekend, so you know, he might be stepping in at 125 for us.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
Going up 133.
Yeah, so 133, we're going to have Bryce Bennett. He redshirted last year, so he had a pretty good season last year. You know, I think just like all freshmen redshirting, you know, they kind of start off a little rocky and rough. You know, that transition from high school to college is tough. You know, towards the end of the season last year, he really started hitting his stride and getting his confidence and just developing. And you know, we're excited to get him out there and see what he can do. You know, he's tough on top. You know, and that's something that, you know, we want to see and put him in positions to, you know, score some points for us.
Right.
So
he's got to make sure you get him on top, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Gotta
Yeah,
get his takedowns.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Anybody else at 33?
Not at the moment, no.
Yep. Okay, 41.
41. You know, unfortunately, we had Preston Weiss returning. He suffered a season-ending injury last week, so he's out. So right now we have McGuire Botorf. He's jumping up from 133 to 141, so returning starter there. So he has some experience. He's also gotten better over the summer, over the experience from last year, and then just kind of building that confidence and moving up a weight. You know, you have a little bit more strength, and you feel a lot better, and that all around affects all aspects of wrestling. So McGuire will be our starter there. You know, freshmen will have you know, waiting and maybe getting into the lineup as Darian Diaz as well.
Yep.
You know, he's a talented freshman, Darwin's little brother. You know, I would plan on seeing him a little bit in 41 as well.
Okay. 49.
49 is Joe Eads,
Right.
returning All-American. You know, we're excited for Joe this year. I think he's gonna. He had a great year last year. I think he's gonna have an even better year. I think the confidence that he built at the national tournament, and he's just wrestling real good right now.
Yeah.
And we've been working with him to become better in his positions. He's really good in that front headlock, and we're trying to give him a little bit more up his arsenal there, and just make him more dangerous, and being able to just make guys more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't like wrestling him or getting in that front headlock, but we've just given him more avenues to score from. So I think he's going to have an even better year.
Well, and he's a pinner.
Yep,
There's no question about it. He finds a way to get guys on their back, and he makes sure that the match ends. So
yeah,
he is dangerous. He's
Yep.
always dangerous to get
Yep.
somebody caught. So, all right, 57.
57. We'll have two freshmen out of Illinois representing 157 for us. Cameron Hargrove and Mikhail Stanley. They had a real good, exciting match this weekend at our wrestle-offs, and Cameron had the upper hand there towards the end of the match. Mikhail came out, scored a lot of points. Both of them wrestled tough, so Cameron's going to get the starting nod initially, but I could also see us, putting Mikhail in there, getting him some matches and some experience as well, and just kind of seeing how they both develop. And then also, along with our starting lineup, we're also trying to find that 12 guys.
Yep.
So we're going to be switching out the lineup a little bit. I think I'm pretty excited because this is the first year where we have a full lineup, and we have some depth where we can really do some things to try to find our 12 best guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So, so 57 will be a good weight for us.
Definitely. Okay, 65.
65 is going to be Steven Skews, from Utah.
Yep.
He's good too. We're excited to just to see what he can do. We just like the style that he has, and in the practice room he goes and kind of nonstop, and that's what we want to see, is going out there and getting after guys and trying to score as many points as we can. And
Yep.
He's solid in all positions. So he's good on his feet. He can get takedowns, stop shots. He turns guys on top. So we're excited to see what Steven can do this year. So we're going to be pretty tough at 165.
Yeah, he's obviously someone who's been away from the sport for a little bit, having served a mission. But how has he knocked that rust off pretty quick?
Yeah, he has. We were maybe a little worried about that first coming in. But he's really transitioned well. We weren't sure if he was what weight he would end up at either. He was starting off quite a bit higher, but got into school and preseason. Knocked that. Got into shape. Weight started coming down and knocked the rust off. It's kind of. A lot of times wrestling's like riding a bike,
Right,
you hop on and you're off pedaling, and wrestling's the same, it's just the shape portion of it,
right.
And just kind of fine tuning. But no, we're happy with where Steven's at right now.
Yeah. 74.
74 is going to be Darwin Diaz, returning starter. We believe that he's going to have a little bit better year this year too. He also started wrestling a lot better towards the end of the year. Had some close matches at conference. And we're also helping him get better and being able to score more points. And I think he's going to be able to do that this year too. And part of that, like we said earlier, is just confidence.
Yeah.
Him building that confidence, and just upping that repertoire of shots and how he gets to those.
Yeah.
So we may see some freshmen in the lineup there too at 74. We've got Cody Gunn from Oskaloosa that could see the lineup this year, and then also AJ Rodriguez just finishing up football, so he's making that transition over into wrestling. So he's got to get some weight off a little bit and then get into wrestling shape. So he's someone that we could also see in the 74-pound
Yeah.
weight class for us.
Well, the best football players are wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
They know
That's
how to
what I
tackle.
always say,
Yep,
but I'm
exactly.
biased.
Well, I've heard it and I believe it. So,
Yep.
all right, 84.
84 is going to be Jason Beebe. You know, coming off of, you know, a tough year last year. You know, he had some just unfortunate circumstances that we were just, you know, battling through. But, you know, he's had a really good preseason, and his mind's in the right spot right now.
Yep.
And, you know, moving up kind of a weight class from where he's competed for us before in the lineup, you know, he's grown, and I think, again, that's going to help his confidence and just, you know, overall mentality, you know, just being stronger and at his best,
Yeah.
you know. So I think he's going to have a real good year. It's just that it's been so long since he's competed, so we'll have to knock off some competition rust with
Yeah.
Jason. I could also see Dylan Comstock from North Mahaska stepping in for us. Dylan's, you know, nursing an injury right now as well. It's been bothering him for a while, kind of nagging him. So getting him healthy, you know, we could see him. And then also freshman Ross Villa, you know, he might be stepping in and getting a little action for us as well. So, you know, he's, you know, pretty talented wrestler out of Virginia. So we're excited at the potential that he has.
Yeah, so a few guys that could be options there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we like having that depth.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
All right, 97.
97 is going to be Ray Lugo.
Yep.
He's actually down from heavyweight. He wrestled heavyweight for us last year, redshirted, but wrestled heavyweight.
Right.
You know, so he's down from like mid 230s down to 197. So he's looking good, moving well. Again, you know, Ray's just one of those guys that has a good mindset, and he goes, you know, he's going to give you everything he has, and he's going to continue to go out there and try to score points too. So, you know, and he had a pretty good year at heavyweight as well. You know, had some tournaments and beat some tough guys. So we're excited to see what he can do at 97 for us. You know, just having him, you know, down a weight class and just, you know, probably feeling a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Correctly sized, and just a little bit more quicker and agile.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, him being a heavyweight, just seeing him this year, knowing that he would have been heavyweight last year, it's like, no, you need to be 97. Like,
Right.
He fits that mold a lot better.
Yep.
Like, it should
Yep.
you know, suit him well. So,
Yeah.
And I think that's it for 97. According to him, he said nobody else 97.
Yep.
So, heavyweight then.
Yeah, heavyweight. We're gonna have Cameron Mitchell and Maxwell Diaz. Cameron wrestled last year, heavyweight, red-shirted. He's got, you know, over the summer he's bulked up a little bit. You know, got a little bit bigger and filled out a little bit more. Yeah. And I feel like he's going to be a little bit more competitive because of that. And because of that too, getting stronger, filling out. His confidence is pretty high right now.
Yeah.
And he's been wrestling real good in the wrestling room. So him and Maxwell had a good match in the wrestle-offs. You know, Cameron came out on top, so he's going to be the starting guy for us this year. And, you know, again, you know, Cameron's a good guy, very coachable. He's going to go out there, give his best effort, and, you know, try to score points. So we're excited about that. And, you know, Maxwell, you know, he's a returning starter. You know, he's down a little bit of weight. He's lost some, which I think is good for him. That's kind of gonna help his agility a little bit more, and he's nursing some injuries right now, so we're trying to get him back to being healthy. I could see him and Cameron sharing a little bit of that heavyweight time, and then also, you know, again, looking for that number 12 guy, you know.
Right.
So we'll be working those guys back and forth, but, you know, both of those guys have grown a lot, and heavyweight collegiate wrestlers are a lot different than heavyweight high school wrestlers.
Yeah.
And you know, you get up against some men, and I think those guys have really transitioned well into college heavyweights. They had to kind of change what they had done in high school to what they're doing now, and they've had some growth. And, you know, again, I think both of those guys are going to have a pretty solid year and a better year than last year overall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we talked about the whole lineup. Let's talk schedule a little bit. Any unfortunately because of COVID, I'm assuming a lot fewer tournaments.
Yeah.
Maybe like just a couple that if I'm remembering, even if that,
Yeah.
obviously the conference tournament was all
Yeah.
said and done. But so it's very much a dual format. Obviously,
Yep.
keeping the amount of people on the
Yep.
in the gym or whatever at a minimal. So, have you prepared any differently because of that, and said, you know what, it's not going to be such a strenuous day per se, but we still need to be ready to go in that one match if that's what it is.
Yeah, so we've maybe adapted our training a little bit because of that. So the past few Saturdays we've been prepping for dual tournaments, and that's
Right.
what we're primarily going to have on weekends. We're going to have our regular conference dual schedule, but we're trying to get that crossover between conferences and to help with national rankings. That's really the only way we're going to be able to do that. With the not having any tournaments, because that's where you could see some different people. So we're doing more getting 3 or 4 duels in on a Saturday. So we've altered our training to on Saturdays to kind of prep for that, and the weigh-ins are a little bit different for that as well. So 1 hour weigh-ins versus 2 hour weigh-ins. So we've been prepping our bodies for that and getting 3 or 4 matches on a Saturday. Instead of sometimes on a tournament you might get 4, 5, or 6.
Right.
So there's a little bit different training, and we don't have to, I guess, beat our bodies up as much as what we do. So, and we've also cleared our schedule is a little bit smaller, because of the contact that we're doing. We've had to kind of adjust things and make sure that we're protecting the conference tournament and the national tournament. So February is going to be pretty bare, and that's protecting conference and national.
Sure.
So as far as what we're excited for, we're just excited for the next duel. We're ready to compete. We've had a little bit of change in our schedule. I guess a lot of change, and here recently, we've had things fall off, move this, move that. We were going to be going to Lincoln this weekend. That kind of fell through, but I think we've got something else ready to fill its place. So right now, that's what we're most excited for, is just getting out there and competing and just wrestling. And I think that I think this team has a lot of potential, and I think we're going to be much better and experienced than we were last year, even though we've kind of already suffered a loss with one of our better guys getting injured and out for the year. So even that said, that Preston's gonna, he had some big shoes, and that's gonna be tough to fill. I think McGuire and Darian are gonna do a good job, but it's tough to fill his shoes. But I think we're still gonna be a solid team.
Definitely. All right, Coach. Well, maybe you're keeping this close to your hip or whatever, but what is the first event of the year then at this point?
At this point, it might be this Saturday.
Okay.
Might be going out to York College for some duels. If it's not this Saturday, we'll be dueling Waldorf for sure next Wednesday.
Week. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, best of luck, Coach. Again, just keep doing what you guys are doing to keep yourself, healthy and safe, so you guys can get a full season in, because that's the most important part right now.
Absolutely.
Let's get a year in. So, all right. Once again, Coach Aron Scott of the men's wrestling team. Wish you guys best of luck.
All right. Thanks,
Wade.
Thank you.